Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you'll meet the man who has been leading a very successful financial group for 34 years here in Dallas, and he works with some of the most prominent families in DFW. His journey just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, you don't stick around in Dallas for long if you don't do business with honor and integrity. And when I think about that subject, I think about my next guest. Greg Hext from the Hext Financial Group is in the studio. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, you told me right before we went on that you describe yourself as a recovering CPA.
That's correct. Very correct. We laugh and say we're not your father's CPA firm.
Yes.
Things have changed a lot.
Okay, so 34 years. I mean, that's an eternity. Tell us how it began for you.
It came out of the crash of the 80s that a lot of people in Dallas suffered through. I woke up and 75 major clients disappeared in like 90 days when the RTC stepped in and basically took over the financial services industry with banks, mortgage companies, savings and loans, and all our clients just went away. We recognized that we needed to start over, and we needed to find a different way of working through and finding a different, more diverse client base. And so we started Chapman Hext at that point in January 1st, 1990. There was 3 or 4 of us, and we decided very quickly that with clients at that point, we were officing in the telecom corridor over in Richardson, and people were consistently coming to us going, can you help me find money? Can you help me find capital? Can you help me do X? It wasn't just about the compliance work that people think about with the CPA, because most people, when they talk to you, they go, so would you do tax returns? And the answer is no, that I don't, but we do have people do that, but we do so many more things. We're so much more of a trusted advisor to the business owner.
Yes.
And that's where we've gotten to over the years, is we've grown up through the process to where our clients are all business owners just like you. They own and operate companies. They're first, second, third generation private equity groups or family offices from around the globe, literally now. And our clients are all $500 million, $700, maybe $1 billion down to maybe 20, 30 million in revenue. And we feel like that is true what we call middle market. Our clients are all private companies, but they need help as they grow. And so we have multiple pillars under Hext Financial Group that our clients have access to.
Yeah, and off the top of the show, we talked about honor and integrity. What does that mean to you?
It means that you have the ability to sit with the client and talk about what are their needs and where are they going, where do they want to be in the future, how do you help them, we call it turn square corners, how do you make sure that they feel like that what they have in the way of numbers or information and advice is something that's spot on and for them, that it's designed for them, thought through for them, and built for them.
Outstanding. And you've assembled a dream team. We're going to pull up your leadership group page off of your website and show some of the people that you've assembled. Let's go ahead and pull that up now. And I want you to talk about how these people came to your firm and what is it about the team that you're proud of?
I think the thing that I'm proud of most is that we have a very diverse group of people from different expertise that the real fun part is we get to bring them all into a room with a client to work. And they, even though all have different expertise and things that they know how to do, take Simon Martin there. Simon has been with us for over 13, almost 14 years now. Heads up he's the managing director of investment banking area. He's not a CPA, but he comes with corporate finance M&A, rebuilding the whole cap stack for a company, figuring out what to do and how to do. How do you value what I have and what I've built? He brings a whole different idea. And then having the right tax people to be able to sit in that room and talk about what is it you're building, what's the value that you have, but how do we help you make sure that it's tax efficient, not just today for you personally and for the company, but also for what's the day you want to exit, or what if someone comes to you, or if you want to acquire another company, are you set up and structured correctly?
Sure.
And we explain to most clients that you're keeping 2 or 3 different viewpoints of how you see your company, from a tax side, from a financial reporting side, and then maybe from even some regulatory viewpoint, depending on what's going on.
Sure. And I think I read where we're about to experience the greatest transition of wealth in modern history. You have a lot of baby boomers who are aging, and sometimes their kid doesn't want their business. so this is their baby. So you help successful families through that transition as well.
Absolutely. We've been since the 90s. So we started back in the 90s. One of the first families that we helped kind of split up their wealth was the McClendon's family here in Dallas. They were the largest owner of drive-in movie theaters and owned radio stations, all kinds of stuff. They had 3 generations pass away in 3 years. At the same time, most of their portfolio was real estate. We're back to that time period where real estate was collapsing in value, and helping people work through that process. The federal tax case out of that wind down was actually the one that set the discounting percentages for family limited partnerships that still exist today. A gentleman by the name of Esther Hughes of Hughes and Luce back then actually tried that case in federal court and won.
Wow.
We found from that there were just a lot of different, and we laugh and call it, there's all kinds of divorces. There's not just marital, there's business partners, there's families, there's all kinds of different things. One of the most recent stories is I had a 75-year-old business owner call me recently, and he said, look, I've got a wonderful company. I have in-house counsel. I've got salespeople, all this. But he said, doing the next transaction, he said, I've made 5 major entities around the United States. He said, I'd have to borrow another $30 million. He said, I'm not up for doing that. He said, and if I don't do something and the economy craters or we go through some major recession, I may not live long enough to see it come out the other end. Can you sit down and walk me through the process and help me to understand what happens, how I do this, how long it takes, what it costs, what things we need to be thinking about? In a lot of cases, we do a lot of front-end planning with people, with not just tax, but what about your systems? Can you get through due diligence? What all has to happen? How do you have to do to look as we're building you out and making sure you're ready to do that? And we have something called a quality of earnings study that we do on a company to really understand their numbers, their systems, and gives them a checklist of things that they need to work on while we're getting ready to take them to market. Same thing happens if clients come to us and go, I want to go acquire a company. How do I do that? Where do I find the money? For today, with things pulling back in the lending world, with all the real estate issues that are out there, people are having to look for other alternative sources of financing. We work with clients. We called it, we'll rebuild the cap stack from, what's the equity, where's the lender, what other kinds of sources of capital do we have to help you find to make that work?
Well, I also sense that you guys have to have a lot of empathy, and in some cases you're like a therapist. So you're helping them through a deal, but the deal is very personal. If you're talking about selling a company or something like that,
it is their baby. I mean, a lot of them, they have raised it. It's another child to them. They've probably put as much time and energy into that company as they have their family and their children, and they built it up, and it's been their support, and they're proud of it, and they love their people. They want to look after and take care of their people and make sure that it works for everybody. In a lot of cases, that transition and who's going to buy it and how they're going to take care of their people is as big an issue as what the value is. I've seen people walk away from the highest price because it was somebody that they knew would take care of their people. And that was something that was more important to them than the dollars in their hand. But the biggest issue is trying to be that trusted advisor to people, whether it's growing and they need growth capital, or whether it's just simply financing, or if it's a sell side, or maybe we've had, we have a situation right now. We closed a company this week on a sale that the private equity group out of Kansas City came to us and went, look, our gentleman that we've been working with in the space that owns the company that's been running it, has majority of it, has cancer, and we need to sell. He wants to sell. Can you help us get through that process? And so we do a lot of that kind of stuff.
Wow. I know you also have regular meetings and you bring people together and speakers. We've got a picture off of your YouTube page, and I want to just scroll down this. And how long have you been doing this event? What's it called?
It's called Aspire. And the reason for that was because we felt like our clients aspired to hear about topics that they didn't know anything about, that maybe it had to do with the bullet train here in Texas and what's happening. It had to do with, something going on in terms of new HR rules, different things that didn't have anything to do with, we would call it, tax and accounting per se, but it was things that affected them from a business side.
I think that's brilliant, and I recognized several of the speakers. The founder of Teledoc, and just you've really done well. Well, we've got a couple minutes left, so final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
I think the most important thing that we find is that our clients come to us because they're probably at some fork in the road, and they need someone they can sit down to that will give them options. And we're back to that issue of trying to give people something that works for them, that solves a problem, or gives them something to go away and think about. I tell our clients all the time, tell me what's keeping you awake at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I can tell you the to-do list of items that we need to talk about. And that's really our role, is to be able to help bring those ideas and then all of our different talent pool from all the different technical perspectives into one room with a client with whiteboards, spreadsheets, and everything, and be able to bring options and solutions.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to leave everyone with the website, which is hextfinancialgroup.com. The great Greg Hext. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.